Hey everyone, it's Adrienne Leah. This is a client reading using 3 decks: the Fairy Wicca Tarot, the Druid Animal Oracle, and the Druid Plant Oracle. I pulled out cards for this reading. It looks like it's leaning towards a relationship, and in the past you have the Father God or the Emperor, and in the present position you have the Judgment card. Both are part of the major arcana. There's major and minor arcana in the tarot deck. So with it being in the major arcana, or major occurrences that happen in your life that are significant to your journey, or the Fool's journey as it is in the majors, you have the Initiator associated with Aries. And not saying you're an Aries, but it's the beginning of a cycle, and something seems like it's pushing forward. The work that you put in your past is now coming through with the Judgment. With the Judgment, it's almost feels like, doesn't necessarily have to have religious context, but in the Book of Revelations, everything that happened, it's coming down to that specific moment based off of your actions in your past. And they were pretty solid actions, and it looks like you did take control of certain situations. Even with your overall energy, you have the King of Swords, the King of Air. And to clarify it, is the Queen of Wands. Both powerful archetypes. With the King of Swords being meticulous and knowing how to make your moves, when to make your moves, almost in a militant mindset. And with the Queen of Wands having the confidence and pushing forward, there is a type of independence that you have here too. And there are a couple of archetypes that I feel like mainly represent you, but there are also cards that represent the other person that you're linked to. Your underlying energy, you have the Holy Stone, one of the extra cards in this deck, along with the Queen of Cups. Sorry. The Holy Stone is nice, or it being the Hagstone, seeing past situations and people. They say if you look into the whole of the stone, you could see through illusion, specifically fairy illusion. So there is a type of discernment that does come from the King of Swords that you have here, and making decisive action with the Queen of Wands. Now what's interesting is that you have the Queen of Cups here in your underlying energy, which is a nice card to have in that position, because there's a nurturing aspect of it. So when you're putting these actions together, there is a place of being mindful and wanting to make good decisions for good people and having good outcomes. And since I mentioned that card, I'm going to mention your animal that you have for this reading, and it's the goose, which feels more of a maternal energy, but it's also one where you're really committing with the goose, being able to have the family aspect, but also the relationship aspect, and being near water, going to the water when it's necessary. With the cups, it's linked to emotion in some readings and in general. So being able to react and not be too impulsive based off of your emotions is important at this time. And again, with using your judgment, you see that the geese are moving south for the winter. So do what's necessary at the right time. This could be a journeying, taking a journey, so journeying card too. There's bramble in this, and then the white flower in the corner. There is a purity to this relationship or this time of your life. When I pulled out your plant card, the first card that I got is actually a blank card. So that could be cleansing the energy too, because the beginning that you have two cards that the Druids considered all heal plants, and they are betony and mistletoe. All heal, meaning generally multifaceted, as a lot of plants are, with the betony being a antiseptic or antibacterial and wound healing. That's the main interpretation that I'm getting from this card, and also by the looks of it, seeing from a better perspective, because the clouds in this card are prominent, and it's a tall plant, so making sure that you can get a bird's eye view, which you get from the mistletoe, and the mistletoe being the bird here that distributes the seeds of the mistletoe for it to grow. So be careful how you're growing the relationship. Mindful with the moon. And there are going to be ebbs and flows as the moon helps move the waves. You do have the moon card in here, which is the further future. It's one of the clarifying cards. To the main card being the Hermit, the Holy One. Because what's the Hermit studying, or what's the Hermit trying to do? And as I said, you have the Moon card. The Two of Swords. This is a planning card. I did also get the the Four of Wands and the Four of Wands and the Two of Wands. Since I said swords, it may be linked to swords too. Um, I don't think it's a decision that you're necessarily making on your own since it takes two to tango. The final card that I did get for this reading is the Hierophant. It was always a nice card to have for a relationship reading. And in this one, you have the guide, but it could also be linked to some type of spiritual, significant, communal union. Um, could be kind of church-like with relationships too. Again, not necessarily religious, but just that visualization of it. Could be that you two are in the same plane or same level of understanding, because there's two on that card, and they're going hand in hand, which is interesting because usually it can be seen as like a, a priest or somebody that may get messages from the divine and relay it to the public. But with this, it seems like there is some type of equality or like balance to the relationship, which is always nice. And I just cut the deck. I got the star card. So it is a positive reading so far. I don't want to say positive or negative, but there's a lot of potential for this relationship to grow. I'll go through the other extra cards that I got for the further future because I do have an immediate future. The Three of Cups. And this is also an important card to have for, I would say, a relationship. It's enjoying each other's company. And three being some significance to your reading too. You could look up 333 in an angel number. But for threes, it does seem like it's a divine number. And it's almost as if it's more of a... I could go as far as to say it does seem more of like a blessing for the reading. So the next card, that is also part of the clarifying cards because I pulled out a couple for the Hermit because it's interesting hearing what the Hermit has to say or think, is the King of Pentacles. Which feels like empire or land, being able to watch over multiple people or each other. There's solid ground with this one. Mainly linking to Taurian energy. Again, you're not a Taurus or anything, but what I'm feeling is that it's a fixed sign and it's like a mountain and you're an air sign. So it may be something to really work on too. Because when I think of Taurus, I think of a mountain. And then air is like, air could like hit the mountain, but the mountain isn't moving. Air is so used to flexibility that it's hard for it to ground itself. So that's an important aspect of what you're trying to do. And it looks like it is on your mind too. It's another archetype. The Queen of Pentacles. I feel like this is the other person with the King of Pentacles. good dynamic. Again, seems like these energies are on the same page. In the immediate future, there are 3 cards that popped out. The first one is Strength, part of the Major Arcana, Strength of Will. Then you have the 7 of Pentacles. There might be something that's taking a while for you to notice the fruits of your labor, but you have the Apple Branch and another extra card in this deck. And the Apple Branch is seen as the key to the fairyland. So in a sense, it's more of a confirmation card, or a card that, you know, it's not given to every situation or every person. So this feels like it's confirmation for your situation. Strength of Will with the strength card, it's just called strength card in other decks, in traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, if you're looking at it in that system of tarot. Sometimes it may feel like you're not making that much progress, or it's frustrating because you don't see results that quickly, but things are coming along. I'm really sorry, but I hope my explanations make up for the imagery. And your karmic card is the 3 of Wands, which is nice because your minor arcana, or maybe day-to-day type of cards, you have 2, 3, and 4. The further future, you have the 2. So that's coming along. Then the 3 and 4. So there is going to be more of a foundation in the further future. And I like to time it 6 months more or less. I would say less than 6 months. Coming sooner than what you would expect. For the karma card, why everything is happening, it really feels like there is a vision that the King of Swords for the overall energy has. It doesn't seem like this energy is going blindly into it, which is good. And seems to be the give and take of the 6 of Pentacles. 6 of Pentacles, what you're putting in is what you're getting. In this reading, at least. Some people may dub it as a breadcrumbing card, but that's not what I'm getting for this situation. It's what you're putting out, you'll get, and then some. Your environment is solid, which is good. And it's elevated card for, again, going back to the King of Swords, because the King of Swords used to be a knight, and the Knight of Swords is linked to your sign. So you're definitely doing a lot in this situation. And something has begun, even if it doesn't feel like it has begun. It's the Ace of Pentacles. Something solidifying in your situation. And I cut the deck again, and I got, in the Major Arcana, the Lover's card, which is nice. You can see the trees, well, hopefully you can see the trees entangled in themselves, and They're facing each other. Looks like solid ground. It's a nice card for this reading. And then another extra card I had for that one, for the environment, is the Sun Wheel. The Wheel of Fortune. Because I wanted to see more into the Ace of Pentacles. So there's a change in movement with the tens. It could be like a casino. It's a chance type of card. It's not solely based off of if it's good or bad or neutral. It could be anything, but it seems like it's going in the direction that you want it to go into, which is always nice. And then the hopes or fears, I'll go through that. We already talked about the further future. The Seven of Air, Seven of Swords, and the Six of Wands. Progression based off of past experience, which I feel is linked to your healing cards from the Druid Plant Oracle, because you were trying to heal from a situation while being in a situation. It's a good reading. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in another video.